Hi, I'm Jay Smith, Executive Editor of Model Aviation Magazine, and I'm really excited to be here with John Tui. He's an actor that's been in many, many movies that I'm sure you would love. He's been in 2 different Power Rangers, SPD and Mystic Force. He's been in the Star Wars franchise. You've been in Moana. You've been in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. You've been in Hobbs and Shaw. You've been in Battleship. I mean, you've really got quite the resume. And we're really excited to have you here today to visit AMA and try out model flying for the first time. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
Absolutely. So what was your first impression when you came to AMA and tried model flying?
I was scared. Didn't know what to expect, really. I've never been part of that community. I've not known anyone that has been part of that community. So to come here and try it out, brought the young adventurer out of me, and didn't know I could be an aviator. So I got to relive all my childhood dreams and gave it a crack. And well, you guys said I didn't do too bad.
And it was a windy day today, 10 plus mile an hour winds, but you did great. And Kyle Jarris, our education director, helped out with your training.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was very clear and concise about his directions in terms of how to hold the plane in the air. We also had to deal with wind direction and the elements. So the more I stayed in the air, the more confident I got. So
you also experienced FPV. You got to wear the goggles and see what that was like.
Oh, that's trippy. That's something that's not in my forte because I don't play games like a lot of this generation. So, putting them on and then flying it and then seeing my son go behind the wheel, very, very awesome. Freaking awesome.
One of the neat things that we like to share with people about model airplanes is, once you learn how to fly, you can really fly anything like an F-14, not many of us would ever be able to fly a full-scale F-14 or an SR-71 or a World War I triplane like the Red Baron flew. But in aeromodeling, you can fly any of that, once you learn to fly, if that's your interest.
I think it's a great way of introducing people to how important and how difficult, but also how fun aerodynamics the aviation community is. And in terms of, it's like, we have model cars. We're never going to be able to buy a Mustang or a limousine or something, but you can buy a model car and still live your fantasy, learning how to drive and navigate that. Like I said, I'll never be a pilot, but having gone through that experience, I wouldn't mind owning my own little model plane that I could play with my kids.
My father taught me to fly, and AMA is very family oriented. So what did it mean for you to share your first flight experience with your son today?
Legacy. He's my son. There are things that I wish I could have done with my dad that I never did, that I kind of make up for it as a father. Now I'm a father of 5, and it was nice. It's nice to have that first time memory, right? Because then you never forget. It's like doing something for the first time. You share it with a certain person, you never forget. To do it with my own son was a great bonding session between. And I don't care how old you are. There's something very innocent about playfulness. And I found the inner young boy maverick in me when I was on there. And then seeing my son do it, then it became a competition. Then it gets ugly. But it was good.
Why do you think families might enjoy model aviation together as a way to spend time outdoors and learn new skills?
It's spending time. That was the key sentence for me. Spending time together, right? Instead of everyone in there, like now with technology, everyone's in their rooms doing their own thing. It's a family community thing. You go. We've been doing it for centuries, right? Going out, flying kites, trying to build things, be adventurous, break the mold and the envelope. I think coming back to the basic things where family, this is a very family thing. Automatically, I thought my sons would be able to do this. I have my daughter out here. My wife would love to see me crash it. Like there are things where I think the family can get involved. And spending a day, if there was some type of day where families could come over here and learn how to do it together, I think that bonding session will just elevate the community and want to be more involved with the aviation community here. Because like I said, I never knew about this. Now when I go home, I'm going to look into it. Something interesting. I don't have many hobbies as an actor because I'm constantly moving around with the work, but this is definitely something I'd like to try.
You've chosen to join the Academy of Model Aeronautics. What inspired you to become part of our community?
The fun. And I think, like I said, I just did it for the first time with my son. I had a blast. I don't know whether I was going to enjoy it or not, but there was there's a thing, and there's a boy in me all the time, right, that wants to come out and play. And the idea of I just wanted to win. I wanted to keep that plane hovering in the air And then if I go right, it goes, like there's a connection there from like, I'm ground force air piloting this friggin' model in the air. And then it got me really engaged and involved. And then you learn things about how aerodynamics works, right? Because I didn't need to put much gas, didn't need to put much power in it to stay there. I just kept it midway. It was gliding in a way. And then when I learned to drop the tail, the wind would push it down. Like there were these little things I was learning like on the spot, right? Yeah. If I go too far, the wind catches it. But also that when I turned the plane around and it was going towards the corner, somehow it just took off, went fast because it went with the wind. And then in that moment, I was just like, don't panic. Like I see you find an inner maverick in you, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I turned the plane right, and then when it came to landing, I used the wind to just hold me up enough, drop the nose a bit, and then it landed. I don't want to brag, but it was all right.
I think you're ready to be in an aviation movie now.
You said it, Jay. He said it. Right?
AMA focuses on safety, education, and innovation in aviation. How important do you think organizations like AMA are in keeping hobbies like this alive for the next generation?
Very important. Because I think it's a lost skill. I see it as a sport and as a family interest. Be good. Because the future's going that way, right?
Right.
With delivering stuff, with rescues. Like, I see that playing a big thing with these forest fires, with finding people who need rescuing or who get lost in the bush. There's so many.
Right.
But like, I think if we have the right understanding of using it for the betterment of our community and society, we can do many things. We can deliver goods. We can, use it for good instead of bad.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of cases where, like, we have a company called Zipline that delivers medical and blood or anything that might be needed to places that normally like vehicles or people can't get to, really remote. So yeah, we had an article in the magazine how it was used for archaeology and to check and see if people were tampering with dig sites. I mean, there's just a wealth of ways that aviation can benefit. Or, we have power lines here on a little part of our property, and they can check the power lines instead of a full-scale helicopter airplane. They can use a multi-rotor or a drone. Model aviation is kind of the gateway. We have so many members who have been in space, like Hoot Gibson has been in space 5 times, and he's an AMA member and grew up building models. And Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, he was involved in aeromodeling at Purdue University. So, we're always excited to hear these stories, or oftentimes I'll talk to pilots in the military, or I talked to a Southwest pilot recently who started in aeromodeling. So it's definitely, we think, a gateway. It also sometimes works for people maybe as they get older and they fly full-scale aviation, and maybe they can't fly full-scale aviation anymore. It's a way for them to still stay, engaged in aviation. What would you say to someone who's never tried model aviation but is curious, just like you were? What would you say to them? Try
it. Get out of your comfort zone and try it. Yeah, it's addictive, man, and it's a good addiction. Like all the bad addictions is a good addiction. Get that good on the bloody, all those games, and come out here and give it a try, I reckon. Yeah. Awesome. I mean, everybody honestly felt you did really well, especially the wind, because usually for a first flight, you don't usually fly in 10+ mile an hour winds, but the aircraft had stabilization on it, and you had good instruction, and you were very successful. And the equipment's top of the art. Like, these things aren't designed just on hope. They've gone through trial and error to get this, it's light. It's really, I can't explain how awesome it is. Like, it's addictive. You really enjoy it. I come from a walk of life that the only guys I knew who had these kind of things were the rich kids in my neighborhood, and I think it's for everybody. I really do. I had great fun. Well, that's all the questions I have to ask you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Nah, thank you for having me today and bringing my son out here. I've never been to this state. Great community, great group of people. Look into it, find a website, find an area, and go and give it a crack. Well, in my country, it means like have a go. Well, it's been a real pleasure to have lunch with you today and fly with you today. And we really appreciate you spending your time with us. I also want to say thank you to Brandon Benfield. Brandon is a graphic designer that works on the magazine, and he's friends with you, John. And through Brandon. He's my friend? Oh, you don't admit it on camera? Okay. Well, obviously Brandon helped to bring you here today, so I want to make sure we thank Brandon. But
again, it's a real pleasure. I appreciate
Mate.
your time that you spent with us today.
Thank you, and thank you for being awesome, Jay. You guys do your job and you do it well. So get involved, all right? Get off the couch, and get involved. Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.